The galaxy was quiet when the broadcast began. Across thousands of worlds, alien leaders gathered to watch. Giant screens lit up with the same image: human cities burning, skies torn open by strange ships, and millions of tiny figures running with nowhere to hide. The Galactic Empire wanted witnesses. They wanted fear to spread. On Earth, every screen turned on by itself, in homes. In streets, in underground shelters, people stopped breathing when they saw it. The signal came from the outer colonies, places already lost. A cold alien voice spoke in perfect human language. Behold the fate of those who resist. The camera moved slowly. It showed long lines of humans on their knees. Old men, women, children, soldiers without weapons. 99 million humans had survived the invasion only because Earth had surrendered. Earth had begged. The Empire had promised mercy. They lied. Energy fire fell from above like rain. There was no rush, no anger, just careful killing. The aliens wanted it clear. This was not war. This was punishment. On Earth, leaders stood frozen in the global command hall. Generals, scientists, and diplomats watched in silence. Some cried. Some turned away. Others clenched their fists until blood ran from their palms. A young officer whispered, "We followed the rules." No one answered. The broadcast ended with one last image. A little human girl looked into the camera. Dirt covered her face. Her eyes were wide, confused, and afraid. She opened her mouth to speak, but the screen went black. The galaxy laughed. Alien channels filled with jokes about weak humans. Commentators said Earth was finished. The Empire had made an example, and the lesson was clear. Humans were prey. But on Earth, something strange happened. There was no response. No counterattack. No angry message. No cry for help. Hours passed. Then days. The Empire grew bored. They believed Earth had broken. They believed fear had won. Deep under the surface of Earth, far below the cities and oceans, an old door unlocked for the first time in decades. Dust fell as red lights turned on one by one. Inside a silent chamber, a circle of world leaders stood around a black table. On the table was a single file. It had no symbols, no flags, only a warning in simple words. Do not open unless humanity faces XTNCTIO. An elderly general spoke slowly. 99 million are dead. A scientist replied, "If we do this, we cannot undo it." Another voice said, "If we don't, there will be no humans left to undo anything." The room fell silent. The file opened. Screens showed old wars. Secret wars. Battles erased from history. Not fought by armies, but by shadows. By names that were never meant to be spoken again. One leader asked, almost in fear, "Are they still alive?" A technician swallowed hard. Yes, contained, watching. Far away, in alien space, victory celebrations continued. Until ships began to lose contact. At first, it was small. A patrol did not report back. Then a station went dark. No explosions. No distress calls. Just silence. The Empire dismissed it as technical failure. They were wrong. On Earth, a young communications officer looked up from her screen. "Sir, something is moving inside enemy territory." The general leaned closer. "Our fleet?" She shook her head. "No, something else." In a locked underground room, 2 containment doors powered up. Ancient systems hummed. A calm automated voice spoke. "Release protocol pending confirmation." The general closed his eyes. He saw the faces of the dead, the kneeling lines, the child on the screen. "Confirm," he said, somewhere in the dark. Eyes opened. The galaxy still believed humans were weak. They did not yet know what humans kept buried. And before we continue, this story If you enjoy deep HFY sci-fi tales like this, consider gently supporting the channel by subscribing. More stories like this are coming. The door finished. Unlocking. Humanity had not answered the massacre with words. It answered with a memory. The universe had forgotten. And the real war was about to begin. The first alien ship died without a sound. It was a long-range command vessel, floating far from Earth, safe and proud. Inside, officers laughed and shared victory reports. They believed the war was already over. Then the lights flickered. No alarms rang. No weapons fired. One moment the ship was alive, then every system went dark at the same time. The vessel drifted silently, dead in space. When rescue ships arrived hours later, they found something worse than wreckage. They found bodies. Every alien aboard was dead. No burns, no broken walls, no signs of battle. Some were still sitting in their chairs. Others lay on the floor as if they had simply fallen asleep. The Empire command marked it as an accident. Then another ship went silent. Then another. Within 2 days, 7 vessels vanished. Fear began to move quietly through alien ranks. On Earth, deep inside the underground command center, screens showed the same locations. Human analysts watched in tense silence. They knew what had been released. A young officer asked, "Are they communicating?" The technician shook his head. No signals. No requests. No reports. The general replied, "They never did." Another screen activated, showing 2 files. Both were marked with old danger codes. Names appeared, blurred and read. The American Boogeyman, the Baba Yaga. Most people in the room had only heard rumors. Stories that were never confirmed. Missions erased from records. Soldiers who vanished and were never honored. A historian spoke softly. They were not created to fight wars. They were created to end them. In alien space, panic finally reached the upper command. An alien admiral slammed his claw on the console. "Explain this." Engineers reported no weapon damage. Medics reported no poison. Sensors showed no attackers. One terrified officer whispered, "It is as if death walked through the ship." The admiral hissed, "Humans cannot do this." At that very moment, another ship went dark, this one carrying an entire battalion. The Empire ordered all fleets to pull back and regroup. Too late. On a mining world under alien control, guards patrolled empty halls. The planet was quiet. Humans had surrendered weeks ago. There should have been no resistance. A shadow moved. One guard turned, confused. His helmet feed cut out. The others never even saw what killed them. Later, when drones entered the area, they found symbols carved into metal walls. Human symbols. Old ones. Warnings from Earth's forgotten past. On the far side of the galaxy, a high-ranking alien noble locked himself inside his private chamber. He watched reports shake across his screen. Ships lost. Colonies silent. Soldiers missing. He laughed nervously. "Tricks," he said. "Human tricks." Then the lights went out. On Earth, the general stared at a live map. Red dots disappeared one by one. "They are moving fast," someone said. "They are not moving," the general replied. "They are hunting." A junior officer finally asked the question everyone feared. "Can we stop them if we need to?" The room was silent. An older woman answered, "No." She continued, "Once unleashed, they choose their own targets, their own methods. We only pointed them toward the enemy." In alien territory, survivors began telling impossible stories. They spoke of footsteps with no sound, of eyes glowing briefly in the dark, of death that came without warning. One survivor screamed during interrogation. "They knew our names. They whispered them." The Empire tried to respond with force. Entire regions were bombed. Empty space burned. Nothing stopped the killings. Then the Empire made its biggest mistake. They captured a human outpost and broadcast the execution live. Believing fear would end it all again. On Earth, people watched. This time, no one cried. In the underground chamber, the general stood slowly. They want to remind us who is in control. A technician's voice trembled. Sir, incoming transmission. From inside their core fleet. The screen flickered. An alien commander appeared, sweating, eyes wide with terror. They are here, he whispered. Not ships, not soldiers, just them. Behind him, the lights died. The transmission cut. For the first time, the Galactic Empire understood something terrible. Humans had not sent an army. They had released nightmares, and those nightmares were just getting started. The alien fleet regrouped near a dead star system. Far from Earth, hundreds of warships formed a tight formation, weapons charged, shields active. This time, they would not be careless. The Empire's admirals promised safety. We are ready, one commander said. Nothing can reach us now. That was when the first scream echoed across the command deck. It came through a private channel. Then another. Then dozens at once. Officers shouted, trying to trace the signals, but they all came from inside the ships. Not outside. Inside. On one cruiser, a soldier turned a corner and froze. The hallway lights flickered. At the far end, something tall and dark stood completely still. The soldier raised his weapon. The lights went out. When they came back on, the hallway was empty. Only blood remained. Across the fleet, chaos spread. Doors locked on their own. Elevators stopped between levels. Weapons failed to fire. Sensors showed nothing, yet death moved freely. On Earth, human commanders watched silent screens. They have entered the fleet, the analyst said. Which one? Someone asked. The general answered quietly, both. In one ship, a group of alien elites barricaded themselves in the command center. They aimed weapons at every entrance. Their leader shouted orders, trying to hold control. A soft sound came from behind them. A man stood there. Human. His armor was dark, his face hidden. Red light glowed faintly from his visor. He did not raise a weapon. The aliens fired anyway. Their shots passed through empty air. The man was suddenly among them. When the doors reopened later, no one inside was alive. Elsewhere, on a massive carrier, something different happened. The lights stayed off. No sounds, no alarms. Just footsteps, slow, calm, unstoppable. An alien officer ran, slipping on the floor, breath breaking. He looked back once. He never reached the escape pod. Survivors across the fleet began calling the horrors by names pulled from stolen human files. The Boogeyman is here. The Baba Yaga hunts alone. Fear broke discipline. Ships collided as crews panicked. Some tried to flee into deep space. Others powered weapons blindly, firing at nothing. It did not help. On Earth, a young officer whispered, "They are destroying them faster than we predicted." The general nodded. Because the enemy still thinks this is a battle. On a distant observation station, alien scientists watched recorded footage recovered from destroyed ships. They slowed it down, enhanced it. They saw impossible things. A human moving through solid walls, shadow killing without being seen. A man standing still as enemies collapsed around him. One scientist trembled. "These are not soldiers." "No," another replied. "They are executioners." The Empire finally issued a new order. Planetary purge. If the monsters could not be stopped, Earth would be erased. Massive weapons powered up across alien space. Targeting systems locked onto human cities, oceans, and underground shelters. Billions of lives hung on a countdown. On Earth, Alarms screamed for the first time since the massacre. Civilians ran. Children cried. Old defenses activated, but humanity did not panic. In the underground command, the general stood firm. They think killing more of us will save them. A strategist looked up. What if it does? The general met his eyes. Then we die knowing they feared us? In alien space. The purge countdown reached its final minute. That was when the Emperor's flagship lost power. Every screen went black. Every guard collapsed. In the darkness. A single voice spoke, calm and human. This is not over. It said. The Empire's fleets froze in terror. Because now they understood the truth. The monsters were not defending Earth. They were punishing the galaxy. The worst was yet to come. The alien purge began without mercy. From the edge of space, beams of white fire struck Earth. Cities burned in seconds. Oceans boiled where the blasts touched. The sky itself seemed to crack as shockwaves rolled across the planet. On the surface, people ran for shelters that were already shaking apart. Some prayed. Some screamed. Some stood still, watching the end with empty eyes. Earth was burning, but Earth did not beg. Deep underground, emergency lights flashed red. The command bunker shook as another impact hit above them. Dust fell from the ceiling. Screens showed real-time destruction. Coastal cities erased, mountains split, millions gone in moments. A young officer cried, "We're losing them too fast." The general's voice stayed steady. "Keep the feeds open. The galaxy must see this." Across alien worlds, the purge was broadcast as a warning. The Empire wanted everyone to watch humanity die. What they saw instead confused them. Humans were not screaming messages of surrender. They were sending warnings. One final transmission. Left Earth. Simple and calm. You should have left us alone. On the battlefield in space, something changed. The Boogeyman moved faster. Entire alien command nodes went silent in minutes. Defensive fleets collapsed without firing a single shot. Officers vanished from locked rooms. Control of the purge weapons began to fail. On a shattered alien cruiser, a surviving commander shouted, "Stop the purge. They are inside the system." No one answered. Elsewhere, Baba Yaga hunted alone. He walked through smoke and fire, silent and patient. He did not rush. He did not chase. He waited until fear weakened his prey. One alien tried to surrender, dropping his weapon and falling to his knees. The lights flickered. The corridor was empty again. On Earth, soldiers fought in the ruins of their own cities. Old weapons, forgotten bunkers, and manual defenses came online. Humans moved civilians into deeper shelters. They did not waste strength on anger. They fought with purpose. A wounded captain looked at the burning sky and said, "They think pain will break us." His partner answered, "Pain taught us how to survive." In the command bunker, a scientist whispered, "We may win, but the cost." The general did not look away from the screen. "We already paid it." In alien high command, panic replaced pride. Reports screamed of lost sectors, missing admirals, and silent fleets. The purge was stopped on half the planets, but two, late for billions. Then a new presence entered the war. The Emperor arrived. His flagship blotted out the stars. Shields stronger than any known weapon surrounded it. His voice filled every channel, every world. "Humans," he said, amused. "Your tricks end now." He laughed as Earth burned beneath him. On Earth, the general straightened. He came himself. The technician swallowed. "What do we do?" The general spoke softly. "Now, he learns." In deep space, the Emperor's elite guards formed ranks. Weapons ready. Nothing could touch him. In the shadows of his ship, something waited. The purge had failed. Earth was wounded, But the war had reached its true beginning, and the Emperor had just stepped into the dark. The Emperor's flagship was the largest structure ever built by the Galactic Empire. It carried weapons that could crack planets and shields no known force had ever broken. Inside, everything was perfect, controlled, and calm. The Emperor believed himself untouchable. He stood on the command bridge, watching Earth burn on a massive screen. His guards surrounded him, elite warriors trained from birth, armed with the most advanced weapons in the galaxy. "Humans," the Emperor said into the broadcast, his voice smooth and cold, "you have entertained me long enough. Across alien worlds, citizens watched and felt safe again. Their ruler had arrived. The monsters would be erased." Then the lights flickered. Just once, engineers reported nothing wrong. Power levels were stable. Shields were intact. The Emperor smiled. Fear makes you imagine things. That was when one of the guards collapsed. No sound. No wound. Just dead. Weapons lifted instantly. Scanners activated. Nothing appeared. Another guard fell. Then another. Panic crept into the room like a slow poison. "Form a perimeter." The commander shouted. The Emperor turned, irritated. "Control yourselves." A soft sound echoed behind them. Footsteps. Slow. Heavy. Human. A tall figure walked out of the shadows. Black armor. Red eyes glowing behind a visor. He did not raise a weapon. One guard fired. The shot passed through empty air. The next moment, the guard was gone. The Emperor stepped back for the first time in his life. "The Boogeyman," someone whispered in terror. Elsewhere on the ship, Baba Yaga moved alone. He did not attack the bridge. He moved through power rooms, communication hubs, and shield controls. Systems failed silently. Escape routes locked. The flagship became a cage. On Earth, sensors showed the change. The Emperor's ship is losing control. An analyst said, disbelief in his voice. The general nodded slowly. They've cornered him. On the flagship, alarms finally screamed. Red lights flashed. Guards fired in every direction. It did not matter. The Boogeyman stood before the Emperor now. Close enough to touch. "What do you want?" The Emperor demanded, his voice shaking. The figure tilted his head. "You watched," a calm human voice said. "Now you will remember." Around them, bodies lay scattered. The bridge was silent, except for the hum of dying systems. The Emperor tried to speak again, but the words would not come. For the first time, he understood fear. On every alien world, broadcasts cut out. The Emperor's image froze, eyes wide, mouth open in silent horror. Then the signal ended. Across the galaxy, one truth spread faster than any fleet ever had. The Emperor was not in control. And whatever humanity had unleashed could not be stopped. The war began to slow, but peace did not come. Across alien space, surviving fleets retreated. Command centers went silent. Entire sectors raised white signals of surrender, begging for mercy they had once denied to humans. On Earth, people cheered when the bombardment stopped. Fires still burned, cities lay in ruins, and the air tasted of ash, but the sky was no longer falling. Humanity had survived. Yet in the underground command bunker, no one celebrated. The general stared at the screens showing empty enemy territory. "Status on the assets?" he asked. The room grew tense. "No direct contact," the technician replied. "They are still active, but not responding." Another officer whispered, "Both of them?" The technician nodded. Far from Earth, Baba Yaga completed his final hunt. An alien war council hid inside a fortress world, protected by layers of shields and thousands of soldiers. They believed the worst was over. They believed surrender would save them. The lights went out. No alarms. No explosions. By the time emergency power returned, the fortress was silent. Every leader was dead. No messages were sent. No bodies were displayed. Baba Yaga vanished into the dark. His mission complete. The boogeyman did not. He returned to the edge of Earth's space and stopped. For the first time since his release, he sent a signal. On Earth. The screen lit up. A human figure stood alone in the image, helmet removed. His face was tired, older than his years, marked by countless battles. Why am I still needed? He asked calmly. The command room froze. The general stepped forward. The war is almost over. The man's eyes narrowed. Almost is not over. A scientist whispered. He's questioning us. The general met the image's gaze. You saved us. The boogeyman was silent for a long moment. Saved, he repeated. Or changed forever? On Earth's surface, survivors walked through ruins, searching for family. Children asked why the sky burned. No one had easy answers. The general finally spoke again. You were created to protect humanity. The boogeyman shook his head slowly. I was created to destroy threats. Today, the threat is fear, including yours. The signal cut. Moments later, alien transmissions flooded human channels. We surrender. Call them back. Please. The galaxy begged. Earth did not answer immediately. In the bunker, leaders debated through exhaustion and grief. They knew the truth. You could end a war, but you could never fully erase what you unleashed to win it. And a final message arrived from the boogeyman. I will leave, it said. But do not call again unless the galaxy truly wishes to end. Coordinates followed, then silence. Baba Yaga was already gone. On Earth, the general closed his eyes. Humanity had won, but the cost would be remembered long after the ruins were rebuilt, because the monsters had taught the galaxy fear, and fear never truly sleeps. The war ended without a final battle. It ended with silence. Across the galaxy, alien fleets powered down their weapons. Fortresses opened their gates. Worlds that once cheered the death of humans now watched their skies in fear, waiting for shadows that might never come. On Earth, the fires slowly died. Cities were broken, but people came out of the shelters. They stood among ruins and looked at the stars, unsure whether to hate them or fear them. Humanity was alive, but changed. Deep inside the rebuilt command bunker, Earth's leaders gathered one last time. The screens showed surrender messages from hundreds of worlds. Some begged. Some offered tribute. Some simply said nothing, too afraid to speak. A young officer asked the question everyone felt. Is it really over? The general answered quietly. The fighting is. The lesson is not. At the center of the room, a single screen activated. It showed the Galactic Council chamber. The same chamber where humans had once been mocked and judged weak. Now, the seats were filled with shaking figures. The council leader spoke carefully, choosing every word. Earth, humanity, we request terms. The general stepped forward. He did not raise his voice. He did not threaten. He spoke plainly. There will be no punishment, no occupation, no revenge. The council members looked at each other in confusion. But, the general continued, there will be a rule. The screen changed. It showed images from the war. Burning human cities. Kneeling prisoners. Silent alien ships drifting in space. Shadows moving through corridors. This is the rule, the general said. Never hunt humans. Never make examples of us. Never mistake our restraint for weakness. The council leader swallowed. And if someone breaks this rule? The general paused. Then we will not send fleets, he said. We will not send armies. The room was silent. We will remember how to open the door. Fear spread across alien faces. The transmission ended. Far beyond known space, a lone figure stood on a dead world. The boogeyman removed his helmet and looked at the stars. He felt no victory, no pride, not only quiet. His mission was complete. Without ceremony, he walked into the darkness and vanished. No signal followed. No trace remained. Baba Yaga was already a myth again. On Earth, years passed. Cities were rebuilt stronger. Children grew up hearing stories, not of heroes, but of warnings. Humanity did not celebrate the monsters it had unleashed. It honored the dead instead. The galaxy changed its laws. No species would ever again be executed publicly. No world would be destroyed as a lesson. Earth was no longer watched with laughter, but with careful respect. In alien academies, one lesson was taught again and again. Humans do not rush to war, the instructor said. They avoid it. They endure. Students asked, then why do they always win? The answer was always the same. Because when humans are pushed too far, they do not fight like soldiers. They paused. They fight like nightmares. On Earth, a memorial stood tall, carved with 99 million names. At the base, a simple sentence was written in many languages. We remember. No threats. No pride. Just truth. The galaxy had learned too. Late. Humanity does not seek monsters. But when the universe creates one by cruelty and blood, humans know exactly where to find it.